Afternoon, folks. Welcome to some more Hobby Nightmares. I've got a cup of tea. I'm ready to read. I've been sent in a few things that I've been told are really good. Let's jump into them, shall we? If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below. If you really like what I do, click the notification bell or you will never hear from me again. Let's get on with it, shall we? Death Chase says, Hello, North. I have a Hobby Nightmare for you today. Well, I hope so, because the episode is called Hobby Nightmares. This story is a follow-up to my last story of how my ex-friend, Maddie, cheated on a mutual friend. Let's see if I can remember this one. I think she kind of cheated on him and she kind of had her eye on you as well. Am I right? Or am I wrong? I don't know. Anyway. This is the story of my first ever Dungeons and Dragons campaign that I ran as a Dungeon Master. Timeline-wise, this was months after the last story. It includes myself, Maddie, Andrew, and two of Andrew's friends that don't have much in this, but were there to witness this as well. We were playing the Lost Mines of Phandelver D&D module, okay? Everyone seemed to have been having a good time. Just pausing there for a sec. People have asked me if I'm going to do a video on the current D&D mess. D&D, I like it, but it's not hugely my thing, but I can look into it if you want and do a video. If you want me to do that, then put it in the comment section down below, and I'll see if I can do it towards this weekend or next week, start of next week. Anyway, about 5 sessions into the module, we had taken a quick break after the party had spoken to one of the dragons in the module. While everyone was getting drinks and snacks, Andrew proclaimed he had to use the bathroom, and Maddie quickly followed suit. None of us had taken notice she was gone with him until 30 minutes after the start of the break, and those two were still nowhere to be found. I quickly shot a text to Maddie asking if everything was alright. No answer. That was my WhatsApp, by the way. I forgot to switch it off. There we go. So they've been gone for like half an hour. I'm going to be willing to bet, I don't know, this cup of tea that I know what's going on here, and I think you all know what's going on as well. Let's see if we're right, shall we? Another 15 minutes pass, and the couple walk out of the bathroom. The rest of us, none the wiser, were just excited that these two were finally back, as we wanted to get back to playing. Yeah, you guys are such nerds. Like, like my friends would just be like, "What's been going on in there? You know, all the time. Like, you guys are such nerds, man." Never mind that. It's your D20. Let's get on with it, shall we? You know what I mean? We've got dragons to kill. For the rest of the session, I noticed Maddie with a little more pep and constantly swaying her legs about. Towards the end of the session, I noticed Maddie responded to my text from earlier. To my dismay, she said that it took so long because she was giving Andrew a BJ. Brilliant. Are we surprised this girl cheated? Okay, right. I'm gonna just say something here. If you are a promiscuous woman, all power to you. All right, all power to you. I don't know. I know a few girls like this, by the way. I don't know any girl who would take a guy into a bathroom in front of all of their friends and be so obvious about what's going on. Who isn't that is a red flag to me. That is a huge red flag. If that girl came anywhere near me, I'd be like, yeah, we're taking you to a clinic first, and we're getting you tested for everything under the sun. And then, even then, you need to be mega hot, or I'm going nowhere near it, right? And even then, you're not the mother of my kids. You know, you're taking guys into bathrooms. You're not the mother of my kids. Sorry, it just is what it is. You can be as promiscuous as you want, and you can do it behind closed doors. No problem. Absolutely. I've known even good girls do stuff like that behind closed doors to treat their man a little bit, right? That's fine, you know. He's your guy. Like, work on him, fine, great. But like to do it in front of your friends so unabashedly and be so obvious about it and then text afterwards. Yeah, that girl's a train wreck. Yeah, that's a train wreck waiting to happen. I told her that she shouldn't be doing that in the middle of a session, or while the group was here, no less. She spouted on about how there was such a mess and how she had to change shirts. Oh, for God's yeah, dude, come on. Which I indeed now noticed. She tried grabbing my arm and asking if I wanted to see. Dude, why are you still friends with this person? I told her, no, I do not feel comfortable with you talking to me about this, even if we are friends. Nor should I even want to see the aftermath. I quickly ended the session and headed home. Dude, like, again, if this happened before you found out she was cheating, why were you still around? Why were you still around? Just leave. Just leave. I don't mean leave the session. Leave the friendship. And tell your guy friend what she's saying, dude. Bro code. Come on, right? Bro code. It is never break a murder. That's the thing, guys. Never break a murder. There's nothing lower on this earth than, you know, a guy who breaks a murder, a guy who breaks bro code. There's nothing worse. There's absolutely nothing worse. If you have done that before, I hope it was a one-time thing. You know, you never cheat on, you never go after your guy's woman. If she's being promiscuous or inappropriate, you tell him. You come out and you tell him, you warn him what's going on, right? Straight away. You step in front of that all the time. If he's talking to a girl at a bar, you talk to one of her friends. You try and get one of her friends on side, right? You try and talk him up. Best thing to do with bro code, if he's talking to a woman at a bar, you make sure that everybody around him knows how much of a decent dude he is. What a guy he is, right? I've had friends when I've been talking to women at a bar, they'll come over to the woman I'm talking to and try and snake her off me. Never works, because, you know, it's small dick energy and they can sense it, but still, you know, don't break her murder, because I cut you off straight away. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're no longer coming out with me. See you later. You're gone. You're gone. I don't care how long I've known you for. You're gone. See you later. Right? I've had a woman talking nonsense, like she's just been out with us, and absolutely talking about history and stuff. I think I've said this story before. Like, she was talking history and stuff, like she knew about it, and she was saying so many things that were completely wrong, that after like several beers, I had to just stop and say, listen, I need to stop you there. I'm sorry. Look, history's my job. I can't hear you tell, not lies, but like being misinformed anymore. And my friend, who was with me at the time, took her side, and I was just like, yeah, we're done. You're not coming out with me anymore. You broke her murder, man. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. Right? Because you've been in some of my classes before. You know I'm right. And you took her side. That's a simpy thing to do. That is a small dick energy thing to do. You broke her murder. You broke bro code. You're not coming out with me anymore. See you later. And that, zero tolerance, man. Dude, you need to tell this guy what his girlfriend is like. Or you needed to tell him what his girlfriend was like. Get in front of it. Save him. Anyway, moving on. Raloth says, hi North, greetings from the far south of New Zealand, where we almost border the nightmare city of Riley. And sometimes I swear the insane things that can happen here are influenced by Cthulhu in our dreams. This story is one example. This story has very little to do with the hobby. Then why have you sent it into Hobby Nightmares? You fucking douche. Sorry, I know. I'm being very, very judgmental there. Sorry about that. Seriously though, if it's not about the hobby, don't send it in. I'm going to read it now because I've started. And I don't want people to get, like, you know, on tenterhooks waiting for the rest of the story, but still. It was during my long time hiatus from 40k, but it's most definitely a nightmare. Alright, I'll let you off this once. Next one has to have some dice in it, or it doesn't count. So let's begin without further ado. In 2013, I lived in a flat that I moved into my early 20s because my friends lived there. But slowly they moved out and others began to move in. Yes, that's how moving out and moving in works. I'm sorry. I'm being very facetious. Including one profoundly religious guy, a born-again Christian type. I'll call him Dickie. He was a smug git, and that got really under my skin a few times. He was a hipster to the nth degree. He grew a moustache, rode a fixie bike, and even wore glasses with just glass. What? Glasses with just glass? You mean monocles? This guy's such a Kiwi, man. This guy's such a manly Kiwi, he doesn't even know what a monocle is. He just, like, sidestepped all of that. Hey, he wears glasses with just a glass. Anyway. One time, Dickie had a house party, and... Dickie had a house party... That's the title of the video. One time, Dickie had a house party, and went away for the weekend. leaving the dishes for us, and was angry when he came back and found them not done. Wow. He once decided to have a poker game, and he and his bros thought it would be so cool to smoke cigars during the game, making the lounge stink of cigar smoke for weeks afterwards. But, okay, if you're smoking a cigar properly, it doesn't stink for ages. Ask any man who smokes a cigar properly. And if it is a stinky one, you go outside. For some reason, Dickie also took a lot of exception to me running my weekly Dark Heresy game on Monday, despite the fact we didn't run it too late and didn't make that much noise, and would try his best to interfere, such as deciding to watch Band of Brothers at a high volume. At the same time, we played until I asked him to turn it down. It was annoying, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle. Well, there's some hobby. There we go. Kind of spuriously counts as a hobby nightmare, I guess. But as more of my friends moved out, more of his friends began to move in. But almost all of them were nice, cool dudes who quickly decided they liked me more than him because Dickie was a bit of a nutbar. I'm an atheist, and whilst I said he was religious, that didn't matter. If he was like that as an atheist or whatever, he'd still get on my nerves. Okay, that sentence makes no sense whatsoever. But it does matter to me, to this story, because another flatmate who moved in was from his church who, one day, allowed another church member to move in out of the blue one day. Okay, cool. So one of his church friends has moved in. I think what you're trying to say there is that you don't mind somebody who's religious as long as they're not shoving it down your throat. That's what you're trying to say. Okay, cool. His name was Zach, and I'm using his real name because fuck him. He was so psychotic, he made Dickie look like a sane, balanced person. Zach had been kicked out of his home by his father, and my flatmate felt sorry for him and offered to let Zach stay until he could find a place, without consulting the rest of us. At first, Zach seemed okay. I did take pity on him and let him play on my PlayStation 3 and use my PC whenever he wanted. Wow, okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, my PC is sacrosanct. You can use my laptop. My work machine, my gaming machine is off limits. No one touches it. It just is what it is. Anybody who knows me knows. No one touches the pressures but me. I mean, yeah, alright, yeah, running with it, it's fine, yeah. He even bought his own games to play. Okay, that's fine. Zach also had a birth defect where his leg hadn't properly developed, so he had to slide... I shouldn't be laughing at this. I shouldn't be laughing at this. So he had to slide his foot when he walked. Basically, a zombie just moved in. With zombies, this guy would be great at parties. You just like paint it. At Halloween, man, this guy is going to clean up on Halloween. He can just dress up as a zombie every year. Throw on like a zombie voice. Dude's got it made. Anyway. I should have more sympathy, shouldn't I, really? The first red flag was when he claimed he was a trained barrister, as well as many other things that I doubted. But I kind of brushed it off. We got into a couple of theological debates, but otherwise it wasn't too bad. Why is an atheist getting into theological debates? I never understand that. Like, I'm an atheist myself, right? I'm not really an atheist, I'm more like I don't know what there is out there, you know what I mean? But I'm kind of an atheist because I don't really believe a God would exist who would make a world like the one we live in, which is so full of pain, right? But I wouldn't get into a theological debate with somebody who's religious because I'm not operating on their wavelength. I don't get it, right? So why as an atheist do you want to go and have a theological debate with somebody? I don't understand. That doesn't matter. Anyway. Zach did move himself in, though, and he tried to go over my head and get another guy from his church to move in when another flatmate moved out, when I wanted my friend to move in. It turned out my friend couldn't do it, and that guy, Zach, wanted to move in was nice, and he did. But still. Until I went away one weekend for the wedding of one of Dickie's friends, now one of my friends' wedding. He was snaking all of his friends. It wasn't fun. I'm introverted and knew 5 people at the wedding, so I found it so hard to talk to anyone. I came back home and was tired and annoyed. All I wanted to do was sit at my PC and play a game or two before bed, but I couldn't find my chair. I looked everywhere, but didn't find it until I came outside onto the deck, where I saw my soaked chair in the dark. It had been raining a lot. Cursing, I approached the chair, slapped my hand on the seat, and... oh no. Oh no. Felt something horribly slimy on my palm. I turned it over in my hand and found it was shit. Human shit. I knew it was Zach. Dude, wash your hand first. Just go, run inside, wash your hand. I'm just going to assume you did that first, because I'm one of those people. I need to know that it's happened, okay? I need to know. I knew it was Zach. I knew over all the collected things that he'd done over the few months of moving in, it was him. I knew how much he used my PC, and which was much more than anyone else in the flat besides me. Needless to say, I was enraged. He wasn't home at the time, so I grabbed my my bokken. What's a bokken? Is that some sort of New Zealand... is that one of them Kiwi oars, the Maori oars or whatever? I don't know. I grabbed my bokken. Comment section down below. Let me know what a bokken is. I grabbed my bokken and waited. This is hilarious. Are you going to start doing the hacker when he comes in? It's going to be the you shit on my gaming chair hacker. Yeah. Sorry. I'm in one of those moods. I'm sorry. Just roasting everybody. Zach eventually came home, and I demanded he told me what had happened. He denied shitting on my chair, of course, but he also tried to say that someone had snuck inside the house while he and another flatmate slept and shat on my chair. So someone's coming... Someone snuck into your flat, shit on the chair, and left. Okay, alright, dude, yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I later asked the other flatmate what had happened, had his story did not align with Zach's blatant lie at all. I would like to say I didn't beat the shit out of him because I took control of my anger, but no. I only didn't because my two flatmates held me back. I just want to see that you've got this like little oar, this little Maori oar, and you're like, oh, let me at him. They're just like, you shit in my gaming chair. I decided that I needed to cool down, and the best way to do this was to take a walk, and I did. During that time, I had dinner, thought things were over, and found that maybe he could have done it by mistake. That because of his bad leg, he couldn't get to the toilet in time, blah, blah, blah. Dude, this is great. Now you calm down. Wow, you got a lot more patience than I do, man. Just put the oar down, you'll be alright. Neglecting the fact that the bathroom was only a couple of meters away. With a new perspective, I came back home and went to talk to Zach. I tried to give him an olive branch, and I tried to sympathise, even apologise. But he became more and more insulting and angry until my other flatmate came into the room asking what was going on. Zach snapped something and began to leave, but on the way, shoulder barged me. In less than a split second, I had my hand around his throat and threw him across the room and crashing against the wall. Like Loki did to Tony Stark in the first Avengers film or something. Zach then tried to take a swing at me, which I backstepped, and dude, if this turns into some sort of kung fu movie where you just end up beating the shit out of him, I don't want a blow-by-blow account of how you'd, like, you know, flowed around him like, you know, you weren't there. I gave him a kick to the ribs before... Yeah, it literally is that. A kick to the ribs before my arms were pinned over my head. I wasn't going to attack Zach anymore, but he didn't know that. Zach's parents then came and picked him up, but threatened me, as he left, that if it happened again, they would call the cops. From then on, I banned him from playing my PlayStation 3 and PC, and I found him on the latter that very night as if nothing had happened, which I shut off. I later deleted his account on my PC and took my PS3 into my room. The next couple of weeks or so were miserable for me. I hated Zach. I loathed him with every inch of me. It was... Every inch of me? Ooh. It was a horrible feeling that would constantly swirl sickeningly in my chest. I would not wish that feeling on anyone, and he was always there. Zach didn't have a job. He subsidised on a benefit and would do little things, and that drove me nuts. Such as stealing a cologne bottle from my room and claiming he took it because it was his, even though I was sure it was given to me by my flatmate. This kept going until one day I snapped and verbally ripped into him. I can't remember what I said, but it was quite venomous. So I sat at my desk and began playing some Fire Emblem on my 3DS just to try and feel a little bit better. But Zach had to confront me. He told me my words hurt and, blah, blah, blah. For God's sake, how long did this go on for? Okay. But then he raised his voice. The next thing I knew, I was up from my chair behind him. Okay, you guys just going to carry on fighting. Okay, I'm going to skip this part. Alright, you carry on fighting. And things escalate. Let's just say that, okay? Alright. Zach then called out to another flatmate who was sleeping at the time, and that brought me out of my rage. I let him go. The flatmate got between us, I apologised, and Zach said he would call the cops. I asked him not to, but he was certain. So I accepted it, and had a shower and a shave, which I had just finished when the cops arrived. 2 males and 1 woman, who wasn't bad looking in all honesty. If this story goes into you getting with this cop, I swear to fucking God. I was a little disappointed she didn't interview me. Okay, cool. 1 cop talked to me in my room, whilst the other 2 spoke to Zach and the other flatmate in the lounge. I told the policeman the truth as best I could, and he seemed almost sympathetic, just about the recent incident and nothing else. The cop left to talk with the other 2, and when he came back, his eyes glazed with anger. He said that Zach had said I'd grabbed him by the throat and had strangled him, but I was sure that didn't happen, and was quick to point out that that if I were actually strangling Zach, he wouldn't have been able to shout to the other flatmate to help. The cop noted that, but still, I was under arrest and had to be taken to the station. They didn't put handcuffs on me and allowed me to take some clothes before I was driven to the station. Oh my God. There I had my fingerprints taken, including the bottoms of my hands, and the cop who did fingerprinting told me that burglars casing a home would place them against the glass of windows they peer through sometimes. I was interviewed for a good hour. I took responsibility and didn't make any excuses before I was taken to my mum's place. Only then did I tell the cops about Zach shitting on my chair, and to say both cops were shocked at this was a damned understatement. I was put on diversion, a kind of get-off card for first-time offenders, which the cops can give, thank goodness. I still had to go to court later, though. When I arrived at the door to my mum's place, I had quite the story to tell indeed. My God, dude. My court hearing was a while away, and I still worked my job as a grocery clerk and everything from my mum's place while I organised a new flat with a couple of workmates. During the time, Zach sent me a long-winded ranting Facebook message of how I only got diversion because he let it happen. I'm pretty sure that he was breaking the law by doing so, by the way, on hindsight, as I couldn't communicate with him and he couldn't communicate with me. So I just blocked him. Eventually, I went to the court hearing with my mum, and we had to catch the bus, which was crowded to hell and back. And my mum just kept talking about how I was on the verge of a panic attack. Okay, I'm skipping that bit. We went to the court, but I didn't have to go to the judge, but a couple of policemen there who told me that I was let off, but I had to go to anger management, which was all right, as I was seeing a psychologist, who I also saw later for anger management anyway, which didn't help me at all. In fact, it just made me more angry, which this girl I worked with was quick to point out the irony when I told her. So yeah, I began moving out later, doing so only at pre-arranged times, so Zach wouldn't be there when I picked up my stuff, and well, that was that. I just wanted to say, I've heard that Zach has done this to other people besides me. The flatmate who moved in at Zach's behest told me Zach would do it to a young man who came to his church who seemed lost, needing help and guidance, and Zach would just talk shit to him to rile him up. I came out of this relatively unscathed, but I came very close to having my life destroyed, and I think that was Zach's aim in the end. I think Zach is a genuine psychopath, and it scares me what he might do to other people. Wow. You put a joke there at the end that I don't really get, but so I'm not going to say it. But that is a story and a half, dude. That is crazy. That is crazy. I like how there was a little bit of hobby in there, just so you could just, barely send it in. In future, if your story doesn't have much hobby in it, don't send in. That one was very interesting, so I'll let you off. But my God, dude, that was cringe. That was very, very, very cringe. And I can't really say that I blame you for your reaction. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, bullies are like this, and the system in some countries is set up to protect bullies. It just is. It's set up to protect those who, you know, are really the actual perpetrators. It just seems how it is. I hate it. It sucks. It is what it is. But anyway, you got out of there. That's the main thing. I will be back tomorrow with some more lore, or I might be back on Friday with some more hobby nightmares, because I just have been sent in quite a few good ones that actually have a lot of hobby in them. Anyway, love you all a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow. Have a good one. See ya. Bye.